the
This
time to
conference will
get in
now
and
be
be
recorded.
comfortable before we get started to make sure, again, everybody's kind of wading through these new waters. So probably wait 3 or 4 minutes before we officially kick off. Welcome to those that are joining us. We're just getting ready to get up and running. Want to make sure that you're all joining us in being able to see and hear what's being projected on the screen and coming through the microphone. If you're having any problems or challenges, let us know. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome to those that are just joining. We're going to be getting started here in just a few minutes. Want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to get their technology up and running in the right way. Feel free to share your video of yourself if you'd like, but don't feel any pressure to. Just want to make sure that you're able to see what's being projected and hear us through audio. All right, everybody, just a couple more minutes and we'll go ahead and get started. Again, just wanting to give a chance for everybody to get logged in and you get the technology up and running like is needed. I'd encourage you to, if you don't already, to keep your speaker, or excuse me, your microphone on mute so that we don't have as much cross interference while we're speaking as possible. And then also feel free, if you'd like, to utilize your camera to show yourself, but at the same time, it's absolutely not required. Completely your call on whether or not you want to have your visage be seen by everyone. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Uh, Thank you all for taking the time out of your busy days to join us. It's going to be a very important program for career and technical education students at Arsenal Tech, and hopefully for your companies and organizations. I'm Nate Klink, and I'm the executive director of the Indiana Construction Roundtable Foundation. For those of you that don't know about ICRF, we're a nonprofit organization that exists to help inform, encourage, and empower individuals to pursue a career in the construction industry or related field. What we're going to be talking about today is very much in this vein. We believe that we're prepared to roll out what we see as a great opportunity to really achieve our mission with students that are already engaged in construction related education in high school, and truly match them with opportunities that exist within your companies for meaningful internship programs throughout the coming summer. Just a couple of ground rules for the webinar as we get started here. As I mentioned, we request that you can keep your microphone on mute until a question and answer period at the end of the webinar. We're also recording this session to make sure that we are able to distribute it to other interested organizations, companies following. So please keep that in mind as there's cross communication. But with that, I wanted to go ahead and move forward with kind of going through our agenda for what we're calling our summer internship call out meeting today. So first, I want to introduce to everyone the team that's going to be working on this on your behalf and getting a sense of who is going to be a part speaking to you today. We'll be talking about the internship history, best practices, and the process that we're looking at doing for this program. Arsenal Tech staff is going to be talking about the program that they run in preparing these young persons for internships and careers in construction. Then you're going to hear as well about the overview and a type of students that are seeking these internships and the type of skills that they've been learning in their career and technical education classes at Arsenal Tech. And then finally, we want to take an opportunity to answer any questions that you all have about what we're trying to accomplish with this program, how we see the program working, and really want to give an opportunity to really get you interested in being a part of what we believe is going to be a very important opportunity and program. So I'll move along to just kind of sharing with you a little bit about the folks you'll be hearing from today. First, of course, my name is Nate Klink, the Executive Director of the Indiana Construction Roundtable Foundation. You might hear me refer to it as ICRF throughout this. Also, you'll be hearing from Derek Barnett, who is the Work-Based Learning Coordinator for students at Arsenal Tech High School, and Jenny Berry, who's the Career and Technical Education Pathways Director for Indianapolis Public Schools at Arsenal Tech High, and then Mr. Aaron Braxton, who is actually the Career and Technical Education Instructor who is working on a day in, day out basis, developing skills and preparing these students for graduation as well as the next step in their construction careers. So to kind of start out, I wanted to provide an overview of Indiana Construction Roundtable's history with working with internships in the high school space. And then kind of provide you with some overview of the best practices that we've uncovered and seen in where internships for high school students have worked the best and components of those internship programs. So over the last couple of years, ICRF has been lucky to work with 2 high schools within Indiana on the development and placement of high school students into construction and building internships. Career and technical education students at both Garrett High School in northeastern Indiana and Hamilton Heights High School in northern Hamilton County have been placed into internships over the last 2 school years and throughout the summer of 2019. They're also looking and going to be doing a number of internships throughout the summer of 2020 as well. These students who have developed their skills within the career and technical education programs at the high school through the internships have been given an opportunity to earn a salary with the companies while performing critical work at those internship companies and gaining important real-world experience that helps them both determine what their ultimate career pathway is and determine how to succeed within that chosen career pathway. And these internships that have been provided and matched with those students have varied. It's not like the internships have only been for either like manual labor type of work or an office type of work. They varied based upon what the students' skills and interests are. So just as an example, we've helped place internships for these high school students at roofing companies, doing project management at engineering firms, working in surveying departments at firms, interior design, irrigation and water type of work, as well as carpentry. What we've learned is that these programs work best when they're not a one-size-fits-all type of approach. Where they work best is where the students are matched with internships and opportunities with the type of work that they are interested in and they have developed skills in, and that are going to really meet what that employer's needs are. We never want to place an intern into a job that doesn't match or that doesn't bring value to an employer. So throughout offering these internships and the different research that ICRIF has done around internship best practices, I wanted to share just some of those that we've seen that really set up organizations and interns for a great experience, a successful internship. So just walking through these, first, creating a structured experience for both the intern and for the company. Meaning, you don't want to have an individual come into an internship, a student come into an internship and kind of say, well, today I think we'll just have you make some copies and we'll kind of figure out from there what we're going to have you do. The best internships are structured in that interns are essentially treated and given opportunities like any other employee within the company. They have assigned tasks that help them vary their experience while on the job. They have an opportunity to receive feedback on the work that they are doing and the value that they're bringing to a company. This helps match that real world experience that's important for any employee that comes onto a company, but especially so young persons. Also, a best practice is providing compensation. This is of key importance. Almost all the information and data out there supports that those internships that have had the greatest success are those that are where interns are provided fair compensation based upon the work that they are doing. And truly, for the programs that we're trying to offer here, that is a minimal requirement that these students that are engaged would be provided with compensation based upon the work that they are doing that's available from the internship host. Another best practice that we've seen are where interns are paired with a single employee or a team that in many ways are able to function as a mentor or help the individual kind of adapt and understand the ins and outs of the environment in which they're working and the tasks that they're working on. So in essence, they have a go-to person or a team of go-to people that help them adapt, help them learn, and take the work that they're doing and complete it in a meaningful way that reflects back on their education and skill building activities. Other best practices that we've seen include internships where an intern has an opportunity to move through different positions within a company to kind of in many ways test out, if you would, different type of roles or different type of jobs, especially in situations where internships are younger adults that are trying to determine their pathway. The ability to vary the type of experiences that a person has within an internship consequently helps that intern develop and think through what their career pathways could be coming out of that internship. And kind of following upon that, it's consider bringing interns into front office and visiting job sites. So again, interns have an opportunity to have some variation within their experience. So they're seeing the many different facets or many types of work that might be going on within a construction or a building type of career or job. And then most importantly, again, is that ability for the intern to provide value-added production to the employer, to you as an employer. This doesn't work as a program if the interns are not providing you all as value in the same way that most of your regular other employees would. If an intern is not bringing value to you, there's just not going to be a benefit to you all participating in the program. So best practices state that we look at interns with that opportunity to bring value and productivity to whatever work that they're doing and have an opportunity to receive that structured feedback as any other employee would while they're on the job. So after that, wanted to just give you all a sense quickly of how we're viewing and hoping to get the process for this program to work. So following this webinar, we're going to actually be sending out to you all as prospective hosts for the interns a survey to really garner your further interest in participating after you've heard all that we're going to be sharing today. So we'll be sending out that survey. You complete the survey, and then we basically work with our partners at IPS and Arsenal Tech to ensure that they understand what kind of internship opportunities are going to be available for the students. And then Arsenal Tech helps to match the students that they have available for internships with those internships that are available. We hope that there will be an opportunity for those interns, potential interns, to do like a job shadow or a tour of facilities prior to kind of committing to and being quote unquote hired into an internship. But we want to make sure that we are positioned to follow any of the regular onboarding, hiring, review processes that your company mandates for new hires. So we really want to make sure that the final step is that we're providing assistance to ensure that that intern follows through on any of the employer mandated and required application and interview process to match in with your human resources requirements, because ultimately as internship hosts, you will be seen as the employer of these interns while they are within their internship. And just to give you a sense of the type of information that we'd be looking for those organizations, companies that are interested in hosting an intern, we'd just be looking at this slide kind of goes over that, where what we're wanting to get a sense of is what are the requirements of the job that you would like to have an intern for? What are the type of compensation that you would be positioned to pay an intern? The timeline, is it a full or part-time? Who they'd be reporting to, et cetera, so that we are able to start building out kind of what those internships available are going to be, and then matching those with the students that are available to fill the internships. So with that, I want to talk about quickly one last thing before I turn it over to our partners at IPS and in Arsenal Tech to talk about specifically their program and what they're doing. So obviously, and I'm sure this is true with nearly all of you, COVID-19 has placed quite a few limitations on the way that we were initially planning to roll out this program. For example, we were planning to have this webinar be an in-person meeting where you would have an opportunity to meet us all in person, interact with a number of students that are available for and looking for internships, hear directly from those students about the experiences they've had in learning and what they're ready to do. We're positioned to host an internship fair, to be able to match, to occur that match in person, as well as wanting to be able to make sure we're facilitating in-person interviews. Well, COVID-19 has kind of put a wrench in much of that, but we believe that there is still significant opportunity for these students to have a meaningful experience, especially and most importantly now that construction is viewed as that essential industry with work sites and significant work continuing through that. So we're in the process and are going to work our hardest to make sure that we're adapting this program through the use of distance technology, virtual technologies, so we'll be positioned to try to make as many of the matches and do interviews remotely if that's necessary, to ensure that the students have access to the technology needed so that they can connect with any prospective internship host prior to being placed, etc. But we're committed to working our hardest to make sure that this works as long as you all are still working on the job within the construction industry. So, but just please bear with us as we roll out this program kind of in this new reality caused by coronavirus and COVID-19. So with that, I want to turn it over to Jenny Berry and Mr. Derek Barnett with Arsenal Tech to talk about the program that they have and how they're going to be helping to prepare the students for you.
Great. Nate, thank you so much. And thank you also to all of our guests that are joining us today. As Nate said, I am Jenny Berry, Director, CTE Pathway Director at IPS Schools. So I'm going to kind of start us off and then turn it over to Derek. But if we can go ahead to the next slide, just want to share with you some of the priorities and goals around this work and why we're doing this. 3 years ago, IPS decided they wanted to reimagine their high school curriculum and their offerings by moving to what we call a career academy model. And so the vision for this is to really take our career and technical education programs and put them in all of our high schools. And so that's what we did. And the vision that guided that strategy was that 100% of our IPS students will graduate on time and also be prepared to be enrolled in either a 2 or 4-year college or university, employed at a livable wage, or intentionally enlisted in the armed services. And we call that the 3 E's at IPS. And we're very intentional around helping our students understand what their E is, what they've chosen, and how that can help them as they transition into their post-secondary life, whatever that those options are for them. So these are kind of big picture priorities and goals that you're seeing right now. And you see on here that we really are wanting to have that connection with with our employers and with our communities and with our post-secondaries. We see that as key to making this 3E work for our students. So really trying to connect our students to that relevant, in-demand and well-paying careers that allow them to have those options after they graduate. So we can move on to the next slide, and we're going to get into a little bit more around our goals here. So why did we move to a career academy model? Oh, go back one. Sorry. Yeah, perfect. So the goals around CTE, because we did expand and extend it to more of our schools, was really to provide more CTE, more robust programming for our students. And you can see here, we have that very first goal here is 100% of students participate in at least one work-based learning activity at each grade level. So that is a very important component of our curriculum, and we're going to take you through some of those activities in just a moment. But you can see them here, and these are all expanded. We know that many of our high school students, they're just not getting the skills that our employers want, and we want to help bridge that gap. And we think the way to do that is to have you come alongside of us as partners in helping with that work. So work-based learning is a big part of that work, and our goal is to have all of those high school students participating each year that they're in high school. So if you move on to the next slide, I will show you, this is what we consider our progression of work-based learning experiences. And we see this as a continuum that students go through as they, choose a career academy and a pathway of their choice. And the continuum here progresses from less intensive types of activities to the ultimate goal of really being able to provide students with paid employment or dual enrollment during that 11th and 12th grade years. So you can kind of see here at the very top, it tells you kind of the commitment that might be necessary in each one of these spaces. So for instance, that very first one in the top corner, guest speaker. We've been very intentional with working with our partners and employers on bringing in guest speakers to come in and talk about their industry and get students in front of people that may have experienced hardships themselves and needed to keep moving forward and making good choices for themselves. So that's really what we see this work starting at. And you can also see as this progression continues, it goes into more of those weeks and months, which is where it would culminate in those externships or internship experiences. So you can see the variety of activities that we have available. And we have also, had some of our partners provide industry tours, classroom challenges. We've hosted in-school and district-wide career fair days for our rising ninth graders and even for our seniors who are graduating. So we want to continue to do that. And we've also held some apprenticeship fairs, which Mr. Barnett will talk about in just a few minutes. So those students can meet with employers during their senior year and learn more about those opportunities. And then finally, just want to add, at IPS, we're very fortunate that we do have a work-based learning coordinator dedicated at Arsenal Tech to assist with these activities and also to work with you. We realize that this is probably new territory for some of you, and so we want to help you along the way. So we're equipped to provide just that ongoing support and monitoring of any student that is placed in your organization if you were to take on an intern, and we'll also help you with the process, like an application process, as well as an interview process that will help to schedule and just to make sure we get that right fit for your needs. And finally, just want to add to what Nate had mentioned, we don't see this as an opportunity where we just send a student out for 6 weeks and don't talk to him again. There is definitely support in place and, monitoring so that we understand that student skill set that they're learning in, Mr. Braxton's class is being transferred into this workplace setting, and those students are building upon those skills in that real world setting. So that is our goal with all of this work. So I'm going to move it on, or We can move to the next slide. I'm going to turn it over to Derek Barnett, our work-based learning coordinator. He's going to talk more about how these activities are happening at Arsenal Tech in the construction trades classroom and the academy there.
Thanks, Barry. Thank you folks for joining our call this afternoon. We're looking forward to you guys hopefully coming on board as partners with us. So my name is Derek Barnett. I'm the work-based learning coordinator for Arsenal Tech High School. I support 13 programs in our Career Technology Center as well as the Construction Engineering and Design Academy. That might be a couple, 50 other students I think I provide support to. So it's a really challenging job, very beneficial to bring in school partners to actually interact with our students and motivate and engage them in future employment and training goals. And so I really kind of expand upon what Nate shared with you guys earlier about best practices with internships. So Arsenal Tech believes that internships are very important because provide students with opportunities to take their skills that they learn in the classroom out into the real world. Most of our pathways at Tech High School are comprised of classroom and also laboratory instruction. Our class is about 90 minutes, and so Mr. Berkson can share with you information about that as well. But typically, we try to support learning activities to that in the classroom. And so we may take students out to Build Your Future symposiums, I-Core, to actually see what they can do with their skills at a training facility, and also meet with experts from that field as well to figure out employment and training opportunities going forward. Also, it allows students to improve their foundational skills. We define foundational skills as social skills. Those really critical skills students need in the workforce, anywhere from effective communication skills, written and spoken, time management, critical thinking, teamwork. And so all those things are really important to be successful in the workforce. Also, it enables employers to create future pipeline. As we all know that this is an aging workforce right now. And so it's really good for schools and employers to begin to match up with each other to figure out how each needs. We know some employers in the past who, especially our health science program, CNA in particular, we have a strong partnership with the healthcare community just for this fact, because we know employers are needing good employees to come into their facilities, trained and prepared to work. Also, we have a partnership with Eli Lilly. It's a co-op. It's really to address their diversity needs. They are having issues with really diversifying their workforce, and so they've partnered with different high schools to identify gaps where they can partner and kind of prepare high school students to, at one point, come to Eli Lilly and work in various positions. And so that's proven to be a really good partnership. Let's see. Also, in the mentorship piece, we have a pretty strong example with a local civil engineering firm. They have adopted our engineering class, again, to inspire and promote diversity within the field of engineering. And so a lot of employers are seeing us as just that partner to begin to partner with and identify future employees to fit their needs. Next, please. Also, internships provide opportunities for students to identify career goals. In the past, we've had a number of students who've obtained internships, and as a result of their participation, they've realized maybe computer science is not for me. Maybe I need to look at another occupation. We had a partnership with Cripe Construction some years ago, and I had a student that was placed there. She did a 2-week internship there, and she was at the time an architecture and design student, and she wasn't sure if that was her field that she should go into. As a result of her participation in that internship, she rotated through 3 different departments within Cripe. They were marketing, architecture, and surveying. As a result of her experience, she realized that architecture was pretty much the career she wanted to settle on. Right now, she's a junior at Boston University, majoring in architecture and minoring in marketing. So we have some other examples of that as how internships have really enabled students to rethink their next steps after they graduate from high school. Also, we've come to find out that internships are really important as well for students. Many times when students are in workshop or internship sites, they're able to connect with somebody at that site that looks like them. Had an issue with a student some years ago at another internship site. He was able to find the right supervisor or mentor at the site to really get him back on track. He comes to find out that this individual that was able to motivate and redirect the student was kind of like him 25, 30 years ago, was from a low income family and was a first graduate from high school. And so through that interaction, that student was able to understand the importance of graduating from high school, networking, and doing a good job on the job site so that he can have promotions and other opportunities to advance his career. And so those are some of the soft skills or soft components of internships that really benefit students. And as my dad always said, it's just the right thing to do sometimes. It's just to go with the unknown and partner with entities to really improve the lives of students and also the culture within companies. Now I want to share with you kind of an overview of the typical student that we identify for internships. Internships are typically open to rising seniors and or select juniors. They must have at least a 2.3 GPA, 90% attendance, and few discipline issues, on track to graduate, flexibility in their senior schedule if the internship occurs during the school year, has expressed interest in an opportunity, able to pass any pre-employment screenings identified by the potential employer. They must complete a resume and mock interview workshop through our Future Center, and just really willing to work and have a good time at the internship site, have fun, and expand their knowledge. With that, I'll pass it on to Mr. Braxton to give you more information about classroom and students.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mr. Braxton, and pretty much what I do with the students, I try to make them realize that the trades are more than just the servicemen that they see come to their house every day. The guys that they see, they see a blanket when they hear about the trades, when they hear about these jobs, and they think it's just one thing. As you can see on the slide, this is me and the students working at Habitat for Humanity. Try to get them out working with their hands as much as possible, and I try to make them realize it's always safety first. It's never, okay, well, we're supposed to do this, and then we're supposed to do this. No, you guys have to think, because just doing this and doing this and doing this isn't necessarily the safest option. So always think about what you're doing before you do it. Yeah, you might have to take A and put it to B, but it's about how you carry A and take it to B. It's more than just connecting A to B. So teaching them safety is my major thing. Give them history about my past jobs. I ask them what they're interested in life, what they know about pretty much about the trades, and what they don't know. Pretty much try to show them. I actually have a student on the phone right now that, because of his experience working with Habitat for Humanity wants to pick him up as a superintendent, just from the experience that he did. Avion, you want to go ahead and tell them about the experience that you had with Habitat for Humanity and what we do in the classroom on a day-to-day basis?
Well, yeah. How you guys doing? My name is Javier, and I am Mr. Braxton student from Arsenal Tech. Good afternoon, everyone today. And me talking about my experience with Habitat for Humanity that was actually my first time doing something like that outside of a normal stipend job or internship or a lesson or anything. So my first time experience in Habitat for Humanity actually exposed me to it being more things you can learn in trade besides your normality or what they show you. I learned how to clean pipes and fix pipes. I learned how to do flooring very well. Like, I'm easy to teach and I learn very fast. So when I got there, I paid attention and I got the hang of it for the first day. And then from there on, they let me leave because I paid attention. I carry myself well. I'm a good people's person. But Habitat for Humanity is actually some opportunity for everyone, not just people who know how to do construction. You can join Habitat for Humanity and know nothing about anything, and they can show you all the basic skill trades to help you get, basically to help you enhance your abilities. So I take the opportunity as in to, like, keep myself busy, because if I'm not busy, then I don't know what I will be doing. So I like to keep myself busy. So I went on and started to do that. And then one project or site deal didn't led from another, and now they want me to be a general contractor. Well, Braxton actually taught me most of the things I know. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have been at Habitat of Humanity. He talked to me, got into my ear about it, showed me the perks and the pros and cons to it, what to learn and what not to learn about certain things. So I took his advice, and pretty much it been me and him and a few other students. We have been going on these builds, like it's our own little personal thing, because like that group of students actually wants to be in the construction field, and including myself. So like from there, I wish if it wasn't for the COVID-19 thing, we would still probably be going on builds and things, but that's my experience with the Habitat for Humanity and what I got from the construction class.
Do you feel like what you learned in class will further you in construction field?
Absolutely. Every other thing, like small things involving houses or major maintenances, is actually needed a lot more than you think. So everything I was learning in class is actually useful now to today as we speak. Like water heater tanks, refrigerating tanks, flooring, drywall, mold. With that class, I could be able to tell what problems go on in my house before, or like I can encounter what needs to be done, and like that's the things that class taught me. It helps me, like I don't know, put more abilities to my assets. Like I just don't.
Right, I understand what you're saying. Thank you. Also, so basically, what I try to show them, what I tell all my classes, what do they know about the trades? Look around. Everything around you is built by a trade, and not just one trade, more than one trade. So, like I told them, anything that you could be interested in is in some trade. And slowly but surely, the kids have learned that over time. And some of the students that just picked it as, hey, we're just going to do this class because it might be an easy class, actually has started to look into more things that they can do in the trades. I have some kids that want to be electricians now, and I have some kids that want to work with concrete on the interstate. So that's pretty much what I feel like my job is, to open them up to see more than just the surface of what they think an electrician does, what they think a plumber does, what they think somebody that works with concrete does, carpentry, so on and so forth. But if there's any questions, I'm going to pass it on to you guys for any questions so we can answer. Hand it back off to you.
Yeah, I've got it. Thank you. So with that, I mean, we wanted to provide you kind of with a high-level overview of what we're thinking about for this program, a good insight into the type of skills and abilities and emphasis that Arsenal Tech and IPS has been placing on providing their career and technical education and other students with these work-based learning experiences, and then give you some insights into the type of students and skills that are ready to be tested out in the real world through internship opportunities. Also went over the process that we're thinking about with this. So after hearing all of that, we're happy to answer any questions that you might have at this point. and kind of address those. So if anybody has a question, please go ahead and ask.
Hey there, this is David Dalton with NDOT.
Yeah. Hey, David. Yep.
Hey Nate. Hey everyone. How's everybody doing? I had a question. So as far as the curriculum is concerned, is ICR introducing, or is there going to be thoughts of bringing in NCCER core curriculum? And just to follow up on that as well, we're working in with Hamilton Heights and Garrett High School as well. And so they're in the process of rolling out some civil pathways as well. So is that something maybe down the line where we can introduce some of the stuff that we're doing at NDOT into Arsenal Tech as well? And I know that I've spoke with Eugene about this, I believe, as well, or Derek, but I'd be just curious to hear thoughts on that. Thank you.
Thanks, David. Yeah, I would ask if Derek or Jenny wanted to jump in on that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Dalton, our plan is to get the NCC, our curriculum in place, because we need it to include any dual credit opportunities. So we definitely are moving in that direction. It is, we have seen a change this year. Aaron is new to us this year from a previous instructor. So so we're working with Aaron and really the Construction Engineering and Design Academy in getting those certifications and curriculum in place. And then I would also say too, as far as the civil, we are currently using the Project Lead the Way civil engineering program at Arsenal Tech through that academy as well. And I could definitely see opportunities there to, get our students involved from those courses as well into work-based learning activities. And Derek, I don't know if you have anything wanted to add to that.
Yeah, so David, I talked to Chelsea earlier today. I think the last chat we had was me, Chelsea, and then some folks on your team. We want to circle back around that conversation we had with you all. Sometime in the next couple of weeks, we're trying to catch up on some lost meetings that we had. And so we'll be giving you a call and see if we can maybe try to get on the phone about where we left off.
Sounds great.
Cool.
Any other questions?
Hey, Nate.
Yeah.
If an employer wanted to hire, like, let's say 2 interns over the summer, what would some next steps for them look like?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question, Chris. So the next steps that we've laid out is that we're actually going to proactively reach out to everybody who's on this call to really get your guys' interest in availability of moving forward. If you're already interested, my suggestion would be in a couple of slides, we'll share contact information for our program manager, Matthew Nance, who will be able to work with employers to kind of understand what your needs are, what kind of opportunities you want to provide, and begin that process right away. Again, we're hoping that we'll have this all up and running and ready to go, that in that late May, early June time frame is when we're hoping that a number of interns would be able to begin their internships. So so if you're interested, reach out directly to us with Matthew Nance's contact information, but at the same time, we will actually be reaching out to you as well to follow up to really gauge what your interest is. So thanks for the question. Any other?
And I definitely have at least 7 students that are willing and that were interested in something, doing something this summer.
Yeah. I want to add too that we support that as well on the IPS side. We have an internship agreement that we have with the employers that identifies what each role is between the student, the parent, the employer, and then also the school. That internship agreement is very dynamic to meet the needs of the employer. We're all about a win-win. We see our customers as being the employer and also the student. And so after we hear from Matt, we'll contact with you as well. He had students and start dates and all that good stuff.
Yep. Again, we really view this as not being a one size fits all model. As Derek said, I mean, we view this as kind of having a dual customer that we're wanting to have dual benefit to you as employers who would be hosting the interns, but also want to ensure that there is benefit to the interns as well in gaining those needed experiences while earning money and learning. So I see a chat question that came in as well. I didn't see the full question. I just saw that there was, I think, a question about limiting activities because of COVID-19. I don't know, Matthew, if were you able to read that? Let me
Sure.
see if I. Okay.
It says, I'm concerned that COVID-19 will limit the scope of activity permitted this summer. How are you expecting to overcome these limitations?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, what first and foremost, I mean, we're all going fully considerate and follow any of the safety guidelines and gathering guidelines that are established by federal, state, local leaders, health experts, et cetera. So with that being said, I mean, I know that construction is viewed as an essential industry at this point, and these students are able to work legally within any industry, and especially those that are currently working. So our hope is that that any limitations that are placed will not have a major impact on our ability to place a number of students. Our concern about impacts is just perhaps the number of internships that could be made available, given how COVID will continue to impact the construction industry, et cetera. So I know that that's not we're learning as we're going, and are going to continue to adapt and kind of do what's best in the interest of students and employers throughout this. That's about the best answer I think that I could give right now. Any other questions? Well, if you have any additional questions, go ahead and move on next slides. So if you have further questions, again, here is Matthew Nance and his contact information. If there are additional questions that you think of, please fire those off to us. Again, we're in our infancy of making this work. There have obviously been these disruptions, but we are going to continue to work through them, and we really believe that there are some great opportunities out there with employers who are working, and we know that there are students that are eager to have these experiences throughout the summer. So we're committing to working our butts off to make sure that that occurs. But thank you all again for joining us today. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we will be reaching out to you all to follow up with a survey to kind of measure and get insights into your interest in moving forward, and then hoping that we can bring this all to fruition. So thank you. Stay safe out there, and we look forward to being in touch with you in the near future. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.